Okay. All right, so whenever you're ready.
Urbanization is on to bring an abundance of opportunities to suburban neighborhoods and families. It allows them easier access to much-needed necessities like electricity and water, along with many other things. One of the major reasons for urbanization is to accommodate to the persistent growth of the American population and for the temporary boost of the economy. Although constructing these massive neighborhoods is extremely costly and time-consuming, many people are beginning to think that it is worth it overall. However, supporters of urbanization are not taking into consideration the detrimental impacts being placed on the environment, such as deforestation and pollution. This has become a major controversial issue in American society. Good morning. My name is Resor, and I'll be discussing the effects inflicted on the environment due to increased urban development in America. First, I had to develop my research question. How has urban development contributed to the change in the environment in America, and what solutions can be implemented to help improve these factors? This led me to conduct the following research through the environmental and futuristic lens. First of all, what is urbanization? Urbanization is defined by the United States National Library of Medicine as the widespread development outside of city centers, often referred to as suburban or urban sprawl. Urban sprawl is developing on land that is previously undeveloped, such as farmlands, wetlands, or forests. And due to the rise in American population, this means that there are massive amounts of homes being placed on small amounts of land, which is resulting in harmful effects for the surrounding environment. So what kind of effects does urbanization cause? According to Andrew Wheeler, who is an American attorney and also an administrator for the Environmental Protection Agency, along with his co-authors Angermeyer and Rosenberg, who wrote the journals Reviews of Fisheries Science, the first stage of construction on habitats consists of physical and chemical disturbances that can be temporarily persistent. They also found that due to construction of highways and neighborhoods, the massive amounts of pollution that accompany it can essentially lead to highway runoff. Due to these vast amounts of pollution that go hand in hand with urbanization, biological consequences are appearing in the surrounding wildlife, which ultimately leads to an overall decrease in population and diversity of species. Since a decrease in diversity in plant species is persistent, this allows more invasive species to be present in a particular environment. A decrease in diversity and an introduction of invasive species creates a cause and effect relationship, and the effect being an unbalanced habitual structure. Now going back to pollution and deforestation, due to the depletion of the environment, animals are forced to relocate and completely adapt to a whole new environment and lifestyle. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, examples of toxins and air pollutants associated with urbanization consist of formaldehyde, mercury compounds, arsenic, and lead and nickel compounds. These pollutants, along with many others, have been found to cause deadly infectious diseases in animals surrounding urban areas. So is it worth it, all the disturbances and the pollutions affecting the environment and the animals? For what? For this? That's a question many innovators need to begin asking themselves before the environments all over the world are unable to recover from the detrimental effects created by urbanization. Since we have addressed the present effects being placed on habitats and their habituants, we now need to focus on how urbanization is going to impact the near future with the consistent growth of the American population. In fact, according to Mark R. Montgomery, who wrote The Urban Transformation of the Developing World, during the period 2000 to 2024, the world's total population is projected to grow by 1.76 billion people, with somewhat 86% of this growth expected to take place in cities and towns. So what does this mean for America? Well, if the population proceeds at the rate Montgomery projected it to be, this is going to lead to an increase in cities and towns, which is only going to make the urbanization situation worse. To go more into depth with the projected growth of cities and towns, we can focus on specific shifts that will lead to an increase in environmental depletion in the future. So let's think about this. If the number of towns and cities is predicted to expand massively, that means the population will skyrocket, meaning that people will become mostly reliant on automobiles and cars, which will contribute to more air and water pollution. Here we see another cause and effect relationship, once again, because there is an increase in pollution, which means there's an introduction of more pathogens that could potentially alter the biology of host cells in the animals. As a result of pathogens, that leads to an overall decrease in the overall wildlife population. This example alone stresses the need for a change in America, or else the ecosystems all around the world are going to be in danger. However, not all aspects of urbanization are bad. To look at it from a different perspective, we need to look at possible pros of urbanization. Instead of causing a potential decrease in the overall wildlife population, urbanization can also reduce the amount of wildlife parasites in an ecosystem, which means there's a lesser chance of animals contracting sicknesses or diseases. There are also many benefits from the human standpoint, like accessing daily necessities like electricity and water and the temporary boost of the economy. Although there are some pros of urban development, the cons simply outweigh the pros. So in order to restore ecosystems globally, not only in America, possible solutions are created. In Britain Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher's speech to the United Nations General Assembly, she discusses a global convention to help conserve the infinite variety of species which inhabit our planet. Other possible solutions implemented by the EPA are the regulations on the amount of environmental depletion, such as the Clean Air Act amendments that were passed in 1990. More possible solutions consist of an increase in educational programs that help address the issue of urbanization, along with an increase in stricter regulations not only from the EPA, but from other environmental protection organizations. Associations could also conduct more assessments of the environment in order to help reduce the amount of pollution. However, as you know, with every solution comes a limitation. Although these solutions seem to be easily obtainable, there is still a possibility that many people will refuse to adapt to a new lifestyle, and some of the testing strategies could be very expensive and become a financial burden for the federal government. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So, what evidence did you gather that you didn't use, and why did you choose not to use it?
Many of the sources that I looked at focused on how urbanization affects environments in like Japan and China because they're like the top polluting countries in the world. And I decided to exclude those sources because my question focused mainly on America and how it affects America. Because I figured if I did it globally, it would be too broad, so I decided to dumb it down.
Okay. And then explain the level of certainty you have about your conclusion, solution, or recommendation.
I feel pretty confident about my solutions by enforcing more educational programs that will make people realize the overall impact that urbanization is taking on the environments, and by conducting more assessments through the EPA and other organizations that will reduce the amount of overall air pollution and water pollution, which will help the wildlife population rise.
All right, thank you.